And to talk about what prosecutors might need to bring that murder charge and to break down the facts of this frustrating case, we brought in former prosecutor and attorney Bob Bianchi. Bob, thanks for being here as always. All right, so we've got a situation here where Josh was also stabbed. He points the finger at Andrew, but Troy is the one being targeted by the prosecutor and the grand jury. How is that?
Well, it's clear that the prosecutor's office is not buying the theory that Josh has forwarded as to what happened. Now, you got to remember, Chris, that the prosecutor's office has all sorts of other data. We just don't know at this point in time. But it was very clear by them bringing the case into the grand jury that disputed Josh's version and them trying to get Josh to change his story. They didn't believe Josh's story.
This appears to be a bar fight that went bad. As a former prosecutor, how do you look at this?
I look at it from a legal point of view, and this is the thing that the public is going to have a hard time understanding. It's not just about proving who the stabber was, but there is a thing in the law called self-defense and defense of others. And in those cases, when there is an initial aggressor, which unfortunately the victim in this case is alleged to have been, and you believe that somebody's at risk of great bodily harm or death, you have a right to defend yourself or a third party, and that's very hard because the prosecutor has to disprove that beyond the reasonable doubt at trial.
That's a high threshold.
For the prosecutor, it's double trouble. They say, Chris, the grand jury is the prosecutor's play tool, and I've presented thousands of cases. Grand jurors rarely do something different than what I ask them. So when the prosecutors go in on the involuntary manslaughter and they say that there's not sufficient evidence, something squirrely went on here.
Ultimately, what do you think happens here, Bob?
I think that the prosecution has a very tough involuntary manslaughter case unless they get some evidence that's going to be a smoking gun. Look, I feel bad for the family, Chris, but just because somebody is dead at the end of the day doesn't mean that the prosecutor should just go forward and criminalize that conduct, especially when there's so much confusion about what happened here.
Bob Bianchi, as always, thank you very much. We'll be sure to follow this story and keep you updated on our website, crimewatchdaily.com.